It seems like every year there are several players that we talk about needing to have a comeback season. When that comeback season actually happens, it feels so satisfying. One very extreme example, in 2023, Cody Bellinger came back from 2 atrocious seasons.
What the hell is even that?
The whole baseball world and myself thought that man was cooked, but he signed with the Chicago Cubs and gave us a very impressive season. We needed that season as fans. The Cubs needed that season out of Bellinger, and more than anyone, Cody Bellinger needed that season for himself. So here are 5 more players that need to have comeback seasons in no particular order. Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton was an all-star in 2022, but dealt with injuries after the all-star break and fell off considerably. He finished 2022 with an OPS well below his career norm. 2023 was supposed to be the bounce back year for him, but instead he regressed further, slashing 191 at 275 on base and a 421 slug. That equals to an OPS of 695, by far the worst of his career. He is entering his age 34 season, and it seems like the injuries have added up. He's not going to give you 40 plus home runs anymore or 600 ABs, but he needs to provide some value to the Yankees lineup if they want to compete. If he can't, that is a very expensive black hole they have on the bench or at DH. He also has basically zero trade value, so the Yankees are stuck with his contract whether they like it or not. Not only does he need to bounce back for the Yankees, but he needs to bounce back for himself too. Prior to the last season and a half, Stanton was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. I mean, he just got 400 home runs this year. He has a career WAR of 44. He's going to be 34 for the whole year of 2024. He's running out of time. If he can get healthy and get to that 500 home run plateau, he still has a chance to make the Hall of Fame. However, with the last year and a half, I don't know if that's going to happen. So he needs to bounce back and bounce back quick. He needs to find some form of value for that Yankees lineup and himself. I really hope it happens. Who doesn't love watching Giancarlo Stanton hit bombs? Baseball is just a better place when we have guys who hit the ball extremely hard, stay healthy. And boy, does he hit the ball harder than pretty much anyone. Second player we're going to talk about is Lucas Giolito. Last year, it was a tale of 2 seasons and possibly even 3 seasons. And I think we all mostly remember the worst parts of it, unfortunately. This year, it looked like he was improving on his disappointing 2022 season with the White Sox with a 3.79 ERA through 21 starts. He was then dealt to the Angels before the trade deadline and performed dreadfully. I mean, absolutely dreadfully, with an ERA of 6.89 through 6 starts. The Angels decided to go for it, and I give him props for that. It just didn't work out with Giolito. I don't know what happened, but then once the Angels realized that their deadline wasn't going to work out, they hit the Control-Alt-Delete buttons on all of their deadline acquisitions, not just Lucas Giolito, and decided to drop him to waivers. He was then picked up by the Cleveland Guardians and performed even worse. He had an ERA of just over 7 through 6 starts. He is looking to regain form, and he signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox with an opt-out after 2024. It is definitely not over for Giolito, as he is still under 30. He still possesses swing and miss stuff. If he can limit the walks and the homers, he has the potential to go to his 2019 to 2021 self, where he received Cy Young votes for 3 straight seasons. However, you could say that about a lot of pitchers though. Limit the walks and the homers, and obviously you're going to get better. But being under 30, I think he still has a solid chance, and pitchers are weird. Sometimes they develop a little bit better in their 30s. It is very, very interesting. And in Boston, he's going to get those innings. Regardless of quality, he's going to get innings. And personally, I think Giolito can turn things around. By the way, if you made it this far into the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down below who else needs to step it up in 2024. If I get 50 likes on this video, I will make another video with 5 more players that need to step it up for 2024. We're going to go ahead and talk about another pitcher in the AL, Cristian Javier. Cristian Javier was coming off a monster year from 2022 in which he started 25 games. He had an ERA of 2.54 to go with a 3.16 FIP, 194 punch-outs in 148 2/3 innings. He was an incredible surprise. People knew that he had potential, but a lot of the baseball world did not expect him to catch fire like that. And really, the last thing the rest of the American League needed was another Cy Young candidate on the Astros to go along with Framber Valdez and Justin Verlander. I mean, you could even find him in the top 25 of some rating systems for starting pitchers. But in 2023, he took a tremendous step backwards, posting an ERA of 4.56 across 31 starts in 162 innings. He almost had an identical FIP at 4.58, so it seems like he didn't get unlucky with that ERA. He saw a sharp decrease in strikeouts, going from an 11.7 K per 9 in 2022 to an 8.8 K per 9 last year. That is a dramatic difference. That's almost a 3 strikeout difference per 9 innings. And a transformation from his Statcast, his Baseball Savant page from 2022 to 2023 is rough. It goes from being very, very red to hardly any red or anything that resembles red. Now, Houston is a very, very talented team overall, and they aren't necessarily needing him to be the ace of that club. They have Valdez, And although Justin Verlander is going to his age 41 season, he still puts up quality innings when he's on the mound. So he doesn't need to be the ace of that club. Baseball is a game of adjustments, and hopefully Javier will be able to make the necessary ones to regain his 2022 form moving forward. He's still very young too. He's only 26. He still has plenty of time to figure things out. We're going to go up north to talk about our friend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Don't get me wrong, it's not like Vladdy had a bad year by any means. He was still an all-star that put up a slash line of 264, 345, and 444. That would be solid for most 24-year-olds. However, this is not most 24-year-olds. This is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. we're talking about. Vladdy just didn't have the year we were all expecting of him, especially after the type of year he had in 2021 when he was just 22. I mean, that was a special season. Do you all remember that? He had 48 home runs, a 311 batting average, a 401 on base, 601 slugging, combined to make an OPS of 1002. He was second in MVP, and he would have been MVP. However, there's someone else in the American League who hits and also pitches at an elite level. I think you know who I'm talking about. After that ridiculous year from Vladdy, I think the whole baseball world was expecting him to be putting up those types of years every year for about the next decade. Now, I don't want to live in a world where the last 2 years are the baseline of what type of player Vladdy is, and neither do the Blue Jays, especially with the type of offseason they are having right now. After missing out on Ohtani, they now need Vladdy to have an amazing year more than ever. There are a lot of players in Toronto lineup that have room to improve from last year, but Vladdy needs to be the guy to step up and do what he has done before. And the good thing is that Vladdy is still super young. It feels like he has been in the league forever, but he's only going to his age 25 season. It's crazy to think about how much he's accomplished in his young career. I think he's going to end up putting a 50 home run season up eventually. Maybe not this year. I hope he gets back to 40 home runs. I'm going to say it right now. You can bookmark this, come back to it whenever, but at some point in his career, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to hit 50 home runs. I am calling it right now. We just talked about a current Astro not too long ago. We're going to go to Minnesota and talk about a former Astro, Carlos Correa. This was not Correa's first year with the Twins, but this was his first year on his new contract. Correa signed a 6-year deal worth $200 million before the start of 2023, and he did not have a great season to start off the contract. He slashed 230 with a 312 on base and a 399 slug, an OPS of 711, giving him an OPS plus of 94, which is below league average. League average OPS plus is 100. Also, the underlying metrics don't exactly like what they see from Correa as well. There's a lot more red on that page the year before in 2022 than there was this year. This year, they're really going to need Correa to step things up in that lineup. They do have some good pieces around him, but with the departures of Maeda and Sonny Gray, they might need to rely more on that lineup to power them to the top of that division than they do on the pitching side of things. Not only do the Twins need him to step it up, but before this year, it seemed like Correa was a future Hall of Famer, at least in terms of WAR. Thus far, he has a career WAR of right around 40. Now, he still hasn't turned 30 yet, so he still has plenty of times to improve on things and build up some really, really good seasons if he stays healthy. I really hope he does. But maybe the Giants and Mets were onto something when they decided not to go through with their contracts because of the physical. Which reminds me that last year's offseason is way more entertaining than this offseason. My God, can we get some things going? Anyway, those are 5 players that really need to step it up in 2024. I just realized that every one of these players is in the American League. Comment down below if you want to see another video, perhaps maybe of NL players that need to step it up next year.